What's up, YouTube? We got an update from Arc Raiders. They put out a tweet, they put out a blog post, and it is all about progression wipes. Let's talk about it. So the tweet says, "Hello, Raiders. Progression wipes are a big part of extraction shooters, so how will Arc Raiders handle them? Today, we have a special message for you from the Arc Raiders design director, Virgil, going over account progression wipes, expeditions, and Raider projects. Read the blog entry here." I like that one. Expedition Project. Hello, all. I am Virgil, the design director for Arc Raiders. I'd like to spend a bit of time talking about a topic that is important to many players familiar with games like Arc. This being the subject of progression wipes, or as we refer to it, the Expedition Project. Solid name. Previously, the question of how we will handle resets or wipes has come up. Until now, the answer has been that currently we do not intend to do mandatory wipes. These words were chosen carefully, as we don't intend to have mandatory wipes. However, as some have guessed, we do have a voluntary reset mechanic. So kind of like Hunt Showdown. Love that. That feature in Hunt Showdown that's a feature more games should adopt, I think. Just to make it clear, we absolutely see the benefits of Global Wipe provides. Veteran players can experience the game fresh, the economy is reset to the baseline, and all players have about the same level of capabilities, at least for a little while. Early Tarkov is fun, I will say. However, one thing a mandatory wipe does not do is respect the investment of those players who do not have as much time to play overall. So, they're thinking about everything. So, as we have done with several other mechanics before mimicking other established mechanics, we'd like to try our own method, ideally to the end that best suits Arc Raiders and a larger majority of its players. At this point, Embark is a walking W. Regional pricing, quality of life, them just thinking of things to help their player base. I love to see it, and I think this is awesome. Moving forward, Expedition Project. Which brings us to the Expedition Project. The tunnel networks connected to Speranza are vast but largely unexplored or inaccessible. Most survivors stay within their settlements, but like the raiders who dare venture topside, there are those who dare venture even farther. Once the Rust Belt has given all it can offer, some raiders choose to set out beyond the borders of what they know. As of now, this has always been a one-way trip. In the full game, players will have access to a feature called Projects. At level 20, the first major project players will have access to is the Expedition Project. Upon completion, this project makes a character reset available. If a player completes a reset, they will be able to do so again so long as they complete another of these projects. All right, so we see a timeline. So October 30th through December 14th, and then December 15th through the 20th, and then December 21st. Reach level 20 to unlock the Expedition Project. Caravan construction and supply phase is available. What does that even say? Finalization phase opens. Completed caravan depart. Nice. Keep it this big. The Expedition Project will operate on a repeating cycle of roughly 8 weeks. During the course of these 8 weeks, players can contribute toward and make progress on their Expedition Project, which will overall be a somewhat large time investment. At the start of the 8th week, the ability to finalize the project will become available and will remain available for that entire week. If a player has fulfilled all of the necessary stages of the project, they will be able to commit to completing the expedition during this period. Should a player's project not be ready during the window to complete the expedition project, their progress will be kept. Massive W, allowing them to continue working on the project until the next finalization window. Just gonna keep going. Other projects may be added over time as part of updates, holidays, and other events. These will range in scale and reward structure. So this is what a project looks like. Commit wires, 0 in your stash. So basically you're turning things in. So wires, battery, arc, alloy, cooling fan. But that seems to be that's 2 out of 6. So 1 out of 6. Okay, so expedition, go to project. So now You're turning things in on 1 out of 6 and apparently on 2 out of 6. Boom, commit resource. All right, easy. These are gray items and 1 green item for the first step. The second step is green items and blue and 1 blue. Okay, so then maybe step 3 is 3 blue items and 1 purple. I don't know. I feel like there should be more variation there, but we'll see when the game launches. What is kept? What is lost? So, what do you keep through an expedition versus what is lost? Players will lose anything inherent to their character's progress, levels, skill, items, inventory, workshop, crafting capabilities, etc. Players will keep cosmetics, earned or purchased, awards, achievements, rankings, etc. Essentially, anything rooted solely in the metagame or involving real money will be preserved. For convenience, after completing an expedition, players will be able to skip the majority of the onboarding and tutorial steps they went through as a new player. This being things like unlocking certain features, maps, etc. as they play through the early game. These will just be available from the start of a fresh reset. That's good. We like that because who wants to just jump straight in? You know what I mean? So that's good. We like that. Now, aside from players who like the thrill of starting fresh, why would you willingly give up all of your hard earned progress? Incentives. Benefits and incentives. We're still finalizing the exact benefits and rewards, but they will generally follow along these lines. Permanent account unlocks for each completed expedition, unique cosmetic rewards for each completed expedition, account buffs that are applied for the duration of the following expedition cycle. That's pretty cool. I like that. And sequential completions of the expedition project increase the magnitude of these buffs up to a limit. So the more you complete in a row, the better your buff is up to a limit. So there's a cap. That's not bad. One point to drive home is that we are being very careful about the nature of these benefits. Completing a reset should never give a player a power or combat advantage over anyone who has not completed a reset. Initially, these benefits will center around cosmetics and bragging rights, quality of life, and smoothing out some aspects of progression for those who have gone through a reset. I love that they're keeping everything fair. There's no pay to win. There's no like extra things that are like, if you get this, then it's bro. I love that they're keeping everything fair. Let's keep that going. We love that. What comes next? While any and all of this is subject to change between now, launch, and post launch, that is about the shape of it right now. We hope that by making the reset mechanic voluntary and properly incentivized, we can observe 2 results. 1, players who are highly engaged can experience the game fresh on a regular cadence while accruing some benefits. 2, players who have less time to dedicate to the game don't have their progress reset outside of their control. They're always able to keep moving forward and at their own pace if they so choose. It's not a silver bullet, and it won't achieve the clean break that a mandatory global reset does, but it does aim to be more equitable to all players. Wherever possible, we want to value your time spent in the game as much as you do. Of course, this is a complex topic, so we'll be keeping an eye on the discussion around this message and follow up as necessary. Thank you all for your interest in for holy, let's restart that sentence. Thank you all for your interest in and passion for Arc Raiders. I look forward to seeing you topside. Virgil. First off, W Virgil. W Virgil. W Embark. Bro, I can't wait to play this game. I think it's going to be awesome. I love that they're keeping everything fair. I love that they're thinking about their player base all of the time. October 17th, and more importantly, October 30th, can't come fast enough. If you're going to be hopping into Arc Raiders, so am I. And you know what? Squad up.